Hello guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're gonna actually talk about which characters you should reroll for, or at least take into consideration when you're starting the game. I don't know if you're a new player of this type of genre of games or if you're a veteran. In case you're a veteran, then you might have a different approach. You might have different characters that you specifically want to play. So this is not really going to be the video for you if you know exactly what to go for. And these characters that I'm about to say are not the best. It's just that they're the best ones that you should reroll for. The other characters are not bad. They're just characters that might require a little more knowledge into the genre, or especially if you're new, or might require more knowledge of the game before you understand how to play them. So if you go for another characters because they look cool and then you don't know what the hell you're doing because you don't know that this character becomes really powerful through epiphany or through a specific item later on, or it has a synergy with another characters that you don't have, then it's going to feel bad. So these characters are like a little more niche or a little more complicated to use. That's why I'm not recommending them. It's not because they're bad, but because they're not beginner friendly and they're not easy to use. They're not like an easy option for anything that you need to do, right? So let's begin by talking about the characters that you should think about rerolling for. We know about Khalipe, but let's start with another characters that I want to mention, which is Hugo. Now, Hugo might sound like it's complicated, well, in reality, it's really easy. Hugo, what he does a lot of follow-up attacks. He builds this hunt mode that he has, and when somebody else that you're using does any attack, it's going to follow up. For one follow-up for each stack of hunt that he has, and you constantly get hunt through his cards. Now, this is like really free damage, basically. But also, some of his cards, I have the label of called haste. Now, the way the game works, let's briefly explain the basic combat. The enemies are going to have a number close to them. Obviously, the beginner guide is going to be in another video, so go check the channel if you don't. So the enemy is going to have a number close to their HP. This number is basically the amount of actions that you can take before they attack you with whatever attack they showed that they're gonna do. So you're gonna have an icon like, oh, I'm gonna attack you in 5 actions. So you can do 5 actions, and then the enemy is going to attack you. It doesn't matter what turn it is, even if it's not their turn, they're still gonna attack you if you consume that number. So keep that in mind. It's not always the case. Some bosses just let you take as many turns, as many actions as you want on your turn, and then they're gonna attack on their turn. But most of the normal enemies, including elites, don't do that. So it's important to mention here because you know how basic things works, and it's important for Hugo. Now, the way Hugo works is like with the haste card. A card that has the haste label doesn't count towards the enemy action. So you can have one extra action and the number is not going to go down on the enemy. So he has multiple haste cards which help his kit, and it's going to be really good having a character that you can slot in, and it's going to help whoever your main DPS is. Go in, do a lot of follow-up attacks, do a lot of damage. With True Epiphany, you can also get some extra help with like the flow of the cards. How many cards are you getting? How many stacks of hunt are you getting? So doubling down on the follow-up attack, okay? So that's the first character, really easy to play, really strong. The second character we know about is Khalipe. Khalipe is really good, and the way Khalipe works is just that she's like really easy to play. She jumps in, she has a lot of defense scaling ability, she has a lot of shield cards that give her shield. Now her cards are really costly. They have a big cost, like 2 or 3, but the good part is some of them are celestial cards, so you need to rely on certain celestial cards to a better flow of cards, so you don't run out of action points. So basically, the celestial label makes it so a card is automatically triggered when you use another card that has a 2 cost. So you can have a 3 cost with Celestial and then a 2 cost without Celestial, and then you use that 2 cost, and the 3 cost is going to be automatically play. So through this combo, which you can also apply on more cards through Epiphany again, is going to help a lot with the cost, or you could use another character to help her flow her cards a little bit more, a little bit better, help her get their cards back. Characters such as like Cassius are going to be really useful for characters that need to draw more or that need extra cards to come back or something like that, right? So it's important to keep in mind that you're not playing with one character. That said, Khalipe is really easy to play. She does a lot of damage. Almost all of her damage is AoE. She uses a Silver Veil mechanic, which you want to stack on and get a lot of damage, because the Silver Veil is going to enhance some of her cards to do even more damage, right? So really easy to use character, really nice amount of damage. Now, the next character that I want to talk about, and I'm assuming she's still in standard, that she's not going to be the premium character, is Rin. Rin was standard in the CBT, so I'm assuming it's going to be standard again, but who knows? We don't know who the premium character is going to be. We'll see. Assuming she is in standard, she is probably most people's reroll objective besides the premium characters on like this beginner banner, because Rin is like one of the strongest DPS, not necessarily the strongest, because a lot of other characters can get better flow and more damage or similar damage through Epiphany and through like specific builds, so it doesn't really matter. That said, Rin is fairly simple. I'm including Rin here because she's a really good, very high damage DPS. It's going to be your eventual main if we discard the premium character, whoever that is. She has potential to be a main, so main DPS. The only thing that you need to care about is slotting and trying to put Dark Stance, whatever it's going to be called on release, the Dark Stance that she needs to get in on as many cards as you can. Now, there is a potential, which is like her third talent, which is free. You just play the game and level her up. Her third talent is going to add the Enter Dark Stance on two more cards that she doesn't have before. So that's gonna make her flow a little bit better. So remember that. But besides that, you just flow the cards. When you see the Dark Stance, you use it. Dark Stance enables the second part of most of your other cards. If you go check, you will actually see cards saying like, if in Dark Stance, do this. If in Dark Stance, draw this, draw amount of card, do more damage, increases the damage, increases the attack count. So she relies a lot on Dark Stance. So keep that in mind. Besides that, that is literally it. So, through Epiphany and through 3-1, I believe, is like the third talent that she has, you can make her go crazy, really insane amount of damage. She is obviously more like 1-to-1, like single target DPS, but yeah, that's Rin. That's another character that you should probably think about. Another character that is I'm a little bit biased, but I think she's still like easy enough to play. I think it's Mei Ling. Now, Mei Ling is a character that I accidentally got, and people were actually not really convinced about Mei Ling. But I think that through Epiphany, you can actually get Mei Ling to self-sustain her zero-cost card, which you also got from Epiphany. So she is Epiphany reliant, in my opinion. However, if you know what you're doing, or you know exactly which cards give you the self-sustaining, the fact that she's a combo character, it basically becomes trivial. We don't really care that she's combo. It doesn't become a complicated mechanic to care about, because you will very often have a lot of card flowing back and coming back, especially if you don't have a big deck. And this ties into another video about like not inflating your deck too much on cards. If you have low amount of cards, they're gonna cycle through graveyard and be drawn back, and you can use them again way more often if you had a triple the size deck. So Mei Ling does a lot of damage. She has a mechanic of Ember that increases her damage the more you gain this Ember. Her ultimate is going to be a lot of damage. I don't know if it's going to be the new one on the or the old one ultimate. One ultimate said that she has 100% critical rate and 200% critical damage during the ult, or the other ultimate description in another version of the game said that she had one extra action count for the next 4 attack, which was still good. So I don't know which one is going to be, but she still works very well. She uses the Ember on one card, which is, I think it's the Dragon Kick. You do the Dragon Kick, you're going to expend all of the Embers, and that kick does a tremendous amount of damage. She's also another single target unit, so keep that in mind, but you can get some nice synergy with other characters that apply Mark, or that apply follow-up attacks, or they have the counters, they have stuff like that. You can do that with Mei Ling. They're going to flow very well. And this ties into the final character that I wanted to suggest, which is Magna. Now, Magna is of the 5 stars, by the way. Magna is basically a different version of Khalipe. She has automatic shield that you can double down on with Epiphany and have a constant automatic shield that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every turn, regardless of what you do. It's an automatic passive that you can get through Epiphany. Now, yes, Epiphany, but it shouldn't take you too long to get to the first Epiphany. And if you are playing the game the way they want you to play, which is farming runs to get good saves and good builds, you will eventually get it. So it's not even that big of a deal, in my opinion. Now, the good part of Magna is that basically she is the counter version of Khalipe. She has a lot of shield. She does this automatic shield generation, which is called crystallization, I believe. And on top of that, most, if not almost all of her cards give her X amount of stack of counter, which means when you get attacked, she counters with a punch. Now, there is an Epiphany that makes the counter become AoE. So every time you get attacked, you counter as an AoE, which is really strong. I had her, and that's why I know. So it's really strong, and I think this makes her very easy to play, very satisfying, it makes you feel very safe having this automatic shield, unless you're fighting some insane monster that is like you are under leveled and under gear and under built, and you're fighting this like secret mega monster. In that case, maybe you get overwhelmed, but besides that, this shield is going to probably save your life almost all the time. And her cards are not as costly as Khalipe's. So that's why Magna is here. These are the characters for the 5 stars. Now, briefly on the 4 stars, which when you're rerolling, you're kind of looking forward to, right? So for the characters only, let's talk about the characters only, because I want to make a partner, which is the weapon, separate partner video, like which one are the best ones in general to keep an eye on in case you get them. So let's just keep ourselves on the 4 stars characters. And now for the 4-star characters, you're gonna get Mika, Owen, and Ray for free. And the other characters are just like you get from. Oh, we're also gonna get Amir from the pre-registration goal, which is basically Amir, just like a mini Magna, but her way of crystallization, it doesn't work the same way. She loses it after a while, so you need to like keep reapplying it or use Epiphany to make it a little bit better. So it's a little more it's a little harder to build her in a way that she actually works very well. It is possible, but it's a little more effort, so keep that in mind. Those are free. Now, another character that is really good is Maribel, which is another mini Magna, basically. She counters as well, and she does shields. But the ones that I want to highlight are Cassius, Nia, and Tressa. Now, Cassius is the redraw Andy, like his redraw character. He can remove your whole hand and redraw as many cards. He has quests that he can do. It might appear very complicated, but when you get the right Epiphany that makes you choose the quest instead of being random, you're not shackled into RNG anymore, and you're not as much, and you can actually look forward to something and like build them in a certain way, and then never worry ever again because you have the save file, right? So, but Cassius rerolls, draws cards, removes your cards, and redraws everything on your hand, and it does like a little bit of damage here and there, and he's also able to give you a little bit of buffs occasionally, right? So that's Cassius, and that's what you want to use with someone like Khalipe or maybe Rinoa. They need like a lot of refreshing of cards, like fishing for certain cards to come back or something like that. Even Mei Ling is one of those characters that you can use everywhere and it's still going to be good. Now the next character, which a lot of people were sleeping on early in the CBT and then they realized, is Nia. Now Nia doesn't heal as much, but Neil buffs, and Neil buffs really hard. So keep that in mind. Like Mika is the Giga healer of the 4 stars, and Nia is the Giga buffer. She buffs a lot. She gives you a lot of morale. She gives you a lot of extra buffs. She does a little bit of damage here and there. She heals, she shields. So it's really, and with Epiphany, you can double, quadruple down on everything that she's doing. You can get some cards to actually be like permanently there and constantly give you morale and cycle forever. You know, like if the cards become upgraded, become a run wide, like combat wide length of upgrade that reoccur every turn. They get really strong with Epiphany. So Nia is the buffer. And then there's another character that a lot of people always know that knew that she was really strong, is Tressa. I don't know if she's gonna be nerfed. She's that strong where people are like, well, is she gonna be nerfed? She is really strong because she applies a lot of dots. And dots do a lot of damage. They stay there. I believe it's called Agony. She has through Epiphany and through building her properly, you will get the monsters to take a ridiculous amount of agony damage and have like an insane amount of stacks of agony on the enemy, which every turn is going to deplete like 30% of their HP, and it stays there. It's basically poison, and if you have multiple stacks of it, it basically stays there because every time it triggers 1 instance of damage, it's -1 stack, but you can basically reapply it every time. So it's a pretty crazy 4-star DPS that you can use if you need another team or if you need a DPS. Maybe you were rerolling for like a healer or for I don't know, Khalipe or Magna. You don't have any healer, any DPS. You can use Tressa if you want. So that was the last character that I wanted to mention. That is it. The other characters are not bad. Again, is that they're either free, so you have them all, or for the 4 stars, or for the 5 stars are most of them are pretty good. The only problem is that they might be too complicated or too reliant on XYZ. While the characters that I gave you today were like the least reliant on XYZ. So this doesn't matter, that you can just ignore the whole video and pull whatever you want. So let me know what you're pulling in the comments below, or come ask me or come tell me live on twitch.tv/Jakazin. I will be streaming the game every day from the release. So, or subscribe to the channel for more videos about CCN. Thank you for watching and see you next time.